Roman. So today we're going to be using decoding strategies, or strategies that you can use when you're reading a book and you come up to a word that you might have trouble figuring it out. Here are some strategies to look for to hopefully help you figure out the word. I'm going to start by going over like each bubble, and I'm going to explain it a little bit and then give some examples. The first bubble right here, it says, is there a small word hiding in a big word? So if you take the word harmed and you see that I circled ARM, and that word is arm. So when you've come across this word and let's say you really didn't understand what the word was, what you can do is you can cover up certain parts of the word, figure out the middle, and then the first sound is just sounding out what the letter makes. So H makes h, and then you have armed. So harmed. Okay, so next we have this black box, and it says, is there a suffix? Now a suffix is a letter or a group of letters attached to the end of the word to form a new word. So in this word we have hopeful, the suffix is full. Another suffix would be ing or ness. It just goes at the end of the word to make a new one. So if I were to cover this suffix, I'd have the word hope, and then if I would cover the word hope, I'd have the suffix full. So this is another great way to figure out words when you come across ones that you might not know. So this word is hopeful. In this blue bubble we have, do you see a word part that you already know? So I know that in our tutoring sessions we went over OA and OW, the long O sound. So this should be familiar to you, knowing that the OA sound is the long O, so it makes the O sound. So if you put all of this together, you have oat, and if you sound out the B, you have boat. Same with floating. This follows our generalization for this word that we went over a lot in tutoring, adding the ing and then the OA is in the middle. And then we have goat. So just breaking apart the words into smaller parts that you know and then sounding out the rest can really help you figure out the unknown word. Okay, this green diamond shape says compound words. So a compound words are formed when two or more words are joined together to create a new word that has an entirely new meaning. So for example, this is rainbow. So it's rain, which I know you know what rain is, and then a bow. So separately they mean two separate things. Rain outside when it's raining outside, and a bow like a hair bow or an accessory. But if you put them together, then it creates a rainbow, which is something that you see outside after it rains. And then last we have this red rectangle, and it says, is there a prefix? So a prefix is a group of letters placed before the root of the word. So for example, that could be like return or unhappy. So the prefix would be the re in return, or the un in unhappy, which un means not. So it's important to look for prefixes in words because this can not only help you sound out the word, but then figure out the word definition as well. So if I were to take the word unhappy, knowing that un means not, and happy is an emotion, I can put together those words and then figure out the character was not happy during this point of the story. Okay, so here are some of the words that we're going to review. This is just a little overview, and then I'll go in and show different strategies to use for each word. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use our anchor chart. We're going to use all the bubbles, and we're going to see if any of them fall under the category to figure out this word that we might not know. Okay, so in this bubble it says, is there a small word hiding in a big word? So if we take a look at this word here, we might cover up part of the word, which is a strategy I like to use. So if I cover up the first part of the word, we have this word. So now this word should be an easy word for you to figure out. This word is long. So now that we know this part of the word long, if we remove this, we can just focus on this part of the word now. So now we can either use one of these strategies to figure out the word, because you might already know this word. You might know what this word says, but if you don't, you can just sound it out. So, pro. And then we know this word was long. So then we'll say it all together, prolong, and then we'll go ahead and reread the entire sentence where this word was found, or any unknown word was found. So then the whole sentence makes sense and it is smoothly read. Okay, so now we're going to move on to this word here. Now, just by looking at this word, I can notice there's a lot of these bubbles that we can use to decode this word. So, another strategy I like to use is using different colors to figure out words. So, for the first bubble here, it says, is there a small word hiding in a big word? So let's look at this word, and you can say, here you have the word mean. Now, mean is a smaller word that's hiding in this big word here. So now let's move on to the next bubble. It says, is there a suffix? Now, a suffix is something that goes at the end of the word. Like in this example, we have the word hope, and then we have full. The suffix would be full at the end. So with here, we do actually have a suffix. It's in the middle of the word, but that's okay. So that's right here, ing. And then again, you'd go back and reread the sentence once you figured out the unknown word, and you're going to read it smoothly. Okay, now for this one, it's kind of like the same the other two. We're going to cover up part of the word. And we have sent. And then we're going to cover up sent. And we have an A and a B. So what you would do is you would just get your mouth ready, sound out these words, and you'll have absent. And you'll say it together. Absent. And then we have this last word. So now when we look at this last word, what I notice first is the ending, the ed. So I know that the ed says ed. And in the middle, we have a word, smaller word that's part of a bigger word. So we have pair. So if we cover up this, we have paired. Now, if we add the im, we'll sound out the im, impaired, impaired. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what it would look like if I was reading a book and I came across a word that I didn't know. So I was just reading this book and I got to this sentence. Just never forget to be, and so I'm having trouble with this word and with this word. So something that helps me is I rewrite the words on a separate piece of paper so it's easier for me to decode. So I'm going to start with the underlining strategy. So the beginning, DEX, this can be easily tapped out. So D-X, dex. So then we'll move on to the TER. So I'll cover the TER, OUS. So we have the TER, again, can be easily tapped out, sounded out. And then now ROUS is Rus. So we have dexterous, dexterous. Now for this word, it's a little bit tricky because we don't have any smaller words inside the bigger words. We just have a bunch of single letter sounds. So what I would do is I would just simply sound out each letter. So we have D, which is D, E, which is E, F, which is F, and then T, which is T. So then I would just put it all together. So deft is this word. So if you just take the word little by little, sound out each letter, then you'll be able to get the word. Figured out each of those words, I'm going to go back to the sentence and reread it all. So just never forget to be dexterous and deft. And never mix up your right foot with your left. So this is how it would look if I was coming across and reading a book. I would just either write the word down, or you don't have to write the word down. You can just try to decode it with your finger. And then I would just break the word into separate parts and make sure you're sounding out each letter. Okay, now that wraps up the lesson. So to do a quick overview, we learned about decoding words and how we can take parts of words and know their sounds, and then we can figure out the whole word. So I'm going to attach this anchor chart into a Google Doc along with words that you can use these decoding strategies to figure out. And then just next time that you're reading and you come across a word that you might not know, I would first try to break down the word. Sometimes even rewriting the word on a separate piece of paper and then breaking it down really helps, just so you know the letters and you can really sound out each letter, and then figure out if there's a smaller word, a suffix, a compound word, a prefix, or if there's any part of the word that you already know how to sound out. So next time that you're reading, just make sure once you figure out the word that you had trouble with to go back and read the entire sentence so you can fully understand the text.